Good afternoon, fellow YouTubers. It's been a long time since I posted a video. I've been quite busy and haven't had a lot of time to work on any projects. So I got a request from a neighbor some weeks ago to reconstruct a chimney cap. This is the original one. You can see it's got a lot of soot and it's fairly well shot. You can see it's just pretty haggard. He got some stainless steel material and he knew that I had some welding equipment and you know, I could help him out. So with the material he supplied, I quickly realized that this is 18 gauge 304 stainless. I quickly realized that I needed a way to bend the sheet and to reconstruct the cap. So I, of course, went to YouTube and looked at a lot of different, I got a lot of different ideas from YouTube, and I began to construct my own. It's not painted or anything, it's a bit crude, but after a few modifications, I was able to get this metal brake to work. And I bought some weldable hinges, you can see here. And then I basically started off with a different bracket. You can see this was the first bracket that I fabricated here with a you know, a brace where I used a turnbuckle to adjust the tension on the center out here. That worked well when I was bending up to 90 degrees, but when I wanted to go beyond 90, as you can see here, I reconstructed a new one where I could bend at 90 or even slightly less than 90. The first bar here I put on, and I was still getting some movement in this direction when I was bending, because this sheet metal, this 304 18 gauge is pretty tough to bend on this roughly 74-inch metal brake. So that's why I welded this second piece on here for some additional rigidity. So what I've done here is, you can see I've kind of tack welded it to the table so it's permanent, at least until I cut it off. And then under here, you know, I welded it onto the table on both ends. So when I'm bending, you know, I can't, you know, the brake itself doesn't rotate. It stays in a good fixed lock position. I welded some nuts with some cheap, you know, old bolts that I had in a bucket, and that's what holds these handles in. And of course, I've got a tensioning bar on this one too, and this one is not quite at 45, it's a little less than 45, and I needed that as well because as I was coming around and bending some of this full sheet width, this piece here was bending outward. I could see it bowing, so I wasn't getting a decent bend. I was getting more of a radius, a large radius bend. So I bent some material here. With this, it's not perfect, but for what my neighbor's looking for, it's acceptable. So now I'm basically ready to start reconstructing the box for the cap. And then I'll go over here and I'll start measuring out this the roof pitch, some of the vertical pieces that hold the corners to the roof cap, or to the gable piece here. And I'm going to cut that material. I'm going to cut the new pieces out of this and start riveting it and fabbing it back together. I'll come back. Sorry for the sudden movements with the camera. I'll come back when I've got the box. When I've got the box fabricated, so you can kind of see my progress. And thanks for watching.